Yep.
You can see the screen. Okay. All right. So the title of this is From Figma to Full Stack. It's a little, I mean, it's true. But honestly, to take a Figma design to full stack, you need to have a lot of skills. Right now, I think someday people who don't know how to code will probably be able to do most apps. But honestly, you need a technical person who knows how to code from. So what do we do? At Molus, we build production grade software with AI. And basically what this means is like 90% we do stuff way faster because most of code is generated by AI now, if you embrace it. So um these are like the three workflows I think would be interesting, that I have some observability on. This is coming from the perspective of somebody who builds products, right? So this is custom software. I don't use Bubble or any of these, you know, or internal tool builders. But this is for product stuff. Okay. Um, the first bucket on the left-hand side, it's called prompt to design. There are a lot of like these UI tools that are basically using AI to stitch together like typical designs. People working out of Figma might be familiar with Figma AI and Uizard. It's called Uizard. They've also embraced it. So it's just this idea that like we're speeding up the design process with generative AI. That's it. There's also kind of like another emerging vertical in the middle that's about design to code. So that's taking screenshots or like Figma mockups and then translating that into components, because this workflow always happens in development. It's like you have design and then the front engineer actually has to turn that into real code or production code. And there are a lot of like workflows related to using like AI that knows how to see, um, whether that be through like a screenshot of the screen and then trying to like sort of replicate it in code, or something a bit more advanced like build.io, which takes like detailed metadata about the Figma design, um, like the dimensions and the curvature of like the bezels and all this kind of stuff. It's a very tight integration. So you can create like pixel perfect representations with Gen AI. And that's kind of nice, especially if you already are making a Figma mockup and you want it to look like actually how it's supposed to. It's kind of like a meme between front-end engineers and designers that it's like this looks nothing like mockup. Figma, it's like really nice, and then the front engineer gets to it and it's like this is terrible. Okay. But the third thing is prompt to production. This is, I think, what people here are going to be a little bit more interested in, which is literally you don't type any code. All right. What you do is use a tool like V0, Lovable, or Bolt, which are both basically the same thing. Um, and you describe what you want and you let the AI figure it out. So this is totally different than how an engineer used to do it, because the engineer used to be like, all right, what's step one, then step two, and then step three, and then like four goes to here. And then if you didn't think any of that stuff out, it would just be crap. Like the whole workflow would be crap. You would waste hours. Um, but with AI, it's more like I'm just gonna say something and then see what happens. And if I don't like it, I'll give feedback. you know. So Andre Karpathy calls this vibe coding. He used to be the head of AI at Tesla. He calls it vibe coding because it's very vibe based, I guess. I think it's a pretty good name, personally. But it's different. It's different than code how coding used to be. So um it also makes it more amenable to product people, like people, because it's more like you're ever in a relationship with the AI and you're like, this is your output. Sorry, buddy, this doesn't look very great. Can you think about doing it this way? Or, it's like giving feedback to a real person. So, um, from here, I wanted to show a workflow that's like Builder.io, taking it from a Figma snapshot, Figma design, and then putting it into Bolt.new, which is like a higher level version of an IDE, like a VS Code that an engineer would normally work in. It's just a bit higher level, and a lot of non-technical people have used things like Bolt.new to create like micro SaaS and pr production ready apps. They're not very impressive, but you can get a full stack application just from no coding and just prompting. So how I would normally do this is Builder.io takes the Figma mockups, you get them to Bolt.new, you get like most of the app done, and then you put it into an IDE like Cursor, where you actually have to like make sure everything works and fill it out. I'm not gonna, I guess I'll give you guys the choice. Do you want to see the Builder.io to Bolt.new, which is the Figma mockups into this like AI editor, and then we build the app together? Or do you just want to see Bolt.new, which is kind of exciting because you can just describe your app and it will try to make it and does a pretty good job. I'm open to either. I think if you don't know anything about these two tools, we should just do Bolt.new because it's pretty cool. What do you guys think?
I'm personally interested in seeing both, but if there are time constraints, then uh, I don't really care either way.
I think both, but I think I'd also be interested in like hearing like what are the cons. Like I'd expect like
Yeah.
I know Cursor is like subscription based and they're always going to limit your tokens. And also, I guess like preventing excessive, I don't know, just poor code because you're like trying to like build, I don't know. There's a lot of like I wouldn't say there's tech debt, but I know that like AI will typically be like, I need to put in libraries. I need to like put in another library. So I guess just
Yeah, it tends to over engineer. Yeah, no, you're
yeah.
right. Okay. Seems like most people want to see the full thing. We can definitely do the full thing. And also, I guess this is my email and phone number if you want to talk to me. I'm more than happy to chat. I'll literally respond. I'm very open to meeting new people and stuff. Yeah. So what am I doing? Oh, screen sharing. Just give me a second while I pull this stuff up. While I'm doing that, does anybody have questions or comments or somebody to get off their chest?
I don't know if we need like a idea to demo, but an idea that I came up yesterday that I have not had the time to implement yet is I wanted to code a or use AI to code anyways, a is a spell generator with
Oh,
like
wow.
some graphics maybe thrown into it. Just in case we needed like a small demo idea.
You're kind of fading away.
Uh-oh, sorry. Can you hear
No,
me
it's
now?
yeah, no, spell generator
Yeah.
idea. Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah. What type of spells do you want to cast?
The scary kind, I think.
The scary guy. I love it. No, the reason why I ask is just because like the more in-depth prompt we can give, like with the different features we want, we'll be able to make whatever's in your mind. So yeah, I'll do the builder.io thing, and then um what I mean by that is we'll take the Figma design and then turn it into like do some work on it. And then after a while, we can just go straight to Bolt.new and like build the spellcaster for scary spells. Okay. Yeah,
Let's do it.
let's do it. Now we're talking. All right. Let me share my screen. Desktop too. All right. So I already have a Figma set up. This is from a real project that my design partner worked on. I don't really know what this app does. It seems like it's some like AI thing. Um, Yeah, I don't know. It's like workflows or I really don't know what's going on here, but it doesn't really matter. So to do this workflow, the one thing you have to do is you need to use auto layout. Okay. So what that means is like when I resize it, all the stuff is responsive. See how it like shrinks and stuff? Because without this, the integration with Build.io doesn't work. It like to get the right pixel measurements and stuff and have those exported into components, you need to have auto layout working. There's tons of content on builder.io. The guy makes YouTube videos all the time. If you're interested in learning how the tool works, I just encourage you to go on YouTube, basically. So how we're going to do this is they actually have a Figma integration. So AI powered Figma code, where you can send screens. And they have like a bunch of stuff here. Honestly, I've only really had the time to explore the export function. It's the only reason I'm subscribed. It's like 20 bucks a month for my seat. And this is the button, export the code. If we didn't have auto layout, it would literally just take a screenshot and then send it to the AI and try to replicate it. It doesn't look the same. It takes so much more work to get the right code. So precise mode, see, it says pixel perfect result. What it just means is I think they send more data than just a screenshot for each component. So we could export to code. It dissects all of the layers in this like mockup. So we have a component here. It's left nav bar. Okay. And it's like breaking those all down. We have another component. Here's the breadcrumbs at top. And it's sending these all to AI, to their pipeline for dissecting these layers. So that it's ready to export into generative AI to actually generate the code.
How long did it take you to do that outline?
Oh, this Figma mockup?
Yeah.
No, I didn't do it.
Oh, okay.
My design partners did. Couldn't tell you, honestly. I wish I had Figma AI, which like they literally generate UIs like this, and it looks pretty good. I'd encourage you to look that up. I mean, it's just an interesting trend, you know. When it becomes widely available, I think I'll definitely use it a lot.
Random question, but
Sure.
um, as you use these tools, kind of like with ChatGPT, how sometimes you can tell someone wrote something with ChatGPT. Can you ever tell that someone used one of these tools to build an application just by the look of it?
Yeah, the code's usually better. If I'm being honest. Well, I don't know. I haven't really like done experiments. So like I haven't done a double blind experiment. So like this is AI code, this is not. But in my experience working maintaining projects, especially for contractors, that code is silly bad. Like it's like really messy, it's unmaintainable. Um, the AI makes pretty code. Like it may not make great like design decisions, which is why you still need a technical person. Um, it will make all these assumptions about how like the application should work to generate code when a lot of those assumptions might be crap. But the actual code it outputs is good. Like it's very readable. Most of the time it works. Yeah. So,
Okay, thanks.
and it can explain it to you. I don't know why this is taking so long.
Zoom
You
always
know what?
slows down everything else I'm doing. Maybe that's just it.
Yeah, could be. Could definitely be. I actually was messing with this before, so I might have. Do I?
So why are you using Bolt over like Cursor? I guess like why one over the other?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry guys, I don't think we're gonna be able to see the integration today. That's sad. Maybe this is a lesson. Maybe they're not reliable. I don't know. I'm pretty new to using, well, so this is what I was using before. You can see in Figma, this is this screen. And I was just kind of like playing around a little bit. I took the sorry, Ogle, let me answer your question, and then I'll like try to retrack what I did so we can like simulate the workflow in our brains. The reason why I use Bolt.new is it's very intuitive. It's I feel like I have to think more with cursor. If that makes any sense. Like cursor is like very much like a fine level of control, and like it's an AI IDE, right? Whereas this more like high level stuff that's like, oh, does the UI look right? Or like, you know what I mean? I think Bolt does this kind of stuff better. And I think that's because it's meant for people who can code, but also can't code, you know? So that's why I like doing, you know, this going into like the middle tool versus exporting it straight to cursor. I'm sure you could do more or less the same thing in cursor, but I think, I don't know. And maybe I will end up doing that one day. Like it's just, I'm kind of just experimenting. But I do really like the user experience of Bolt. Yeah.
Could you
Okay.
remind us one more time what you said the workflow needs to be between Bolt, Builder, and the other one?
Sure.
Or is that on the
So
presentation?
no, it's kind of on the presentation. Let me just go back. Drive.
If it is, I
Don't
can
look at
just look at
this.
it later. You're good.
Okay. It's yeah. Just shoot me a question if you have one afterwards. I'm happy to reply with an answer. Yeah. Let me actually just put my, what's it called? Do you have my email?
From the Cal invite.
Okay. Yeah, just shoot me a message. Okay. So what did we do here? I'm sorry. This thing is it? Yeah, it's not even working. So what this thing does is what it's supposed to do is like you take it, show the builder.io thing, you convert the stuff to Figma, and you export the code. And what this will output is it'll give you an option to actually generate all of the component to dissects. And this is a builder.io feature. And what it's going to do is literally make like a big list of components that it needs to make, and it'll generate them one by one. The reason why this works great is because AI is super good at building like single components with Tailwind. And what I do from here is they give you a command where you can download those components on any computer. Like it's a command you give the computer, it downloads it from the cloud, whatever, and then your code is in your project. So what I like to do is if you need to go here, it's gonna show me. No. What I did here is I actually ran that command in this terminal. So this is a dev environment. It has all the dependencies. It's like basically having an IDE on the computer. And you can download packages and all this stuff that you need to do. But it brings in all of the components that Builder.io generated. So I think this might be one of them. And what's great about this is these are like very more accurate generations than it would do if it was just like screenshot, recreate this. You can see here, if I go back to the Figma file, that this is what it tried to recreate. And it's like, yeah, it looks exactly the same, to be honest with you. You know, and you couldn't really achieve this with like a screenshot to basically using the language model to look at the screen and then generate the code. Builder.io gives you like exact measurements and stuff it needs to make good generations. So that's the workflow. That's the Builder.io. That's how you get Builder.io into Bolt.new. It's like the command that it's not going to give me. And the reason why it's Bolt.new versus all these other tools like Lovable or V0 is that Bolt.new is the only one that gives you like a terminal where you can download stuff. Another advantage of this is that you can download any package that any web developer will want to use. So this is React Flow. It's a great package for any sort of like workflow thing. But in none of these other editors, V0 or otherwise, could you use this code, because they don't have a real sandbox. They define what packages you can use and what packages you can't. So Bolt.new is great because it's like if I want to, I don't know, if I want to do something, I don't reinvent the wheel, right? I just get some code from the internet that actually works. So that's why I love Bolt.new. In terms of actually how it works, oh, you can see here, this is where I ran the command to add these components and stuff. It's really straightforward. Like, it's very straightforward. So let's actually just start building stuff. Right now, these like two things are stacked on top of each other when, according to the mockup, I think they should be side by side. Yeah. Yeah, they should be side to side. The item list is here, filters items here, and then the canvas is over here. So I'm just gonna, that's cursor. I'm just gonna tell them you're doing it wrong, basically. Hey, how's it going? The item list should be right. Oh, left of the filters item card. Right now they're stacked vertically. Most of the time I actually just dictate, like I don't even type. And I might actually give it a screenshot too, just to make sure it knows what's going on. Oh, I don't think I'm gonna be able to screenshot this. Let me just go here. So I can attach this. This is the screenshot. Make them side by side, horizontal, like, yeah. Yeah, so what Bolt's doing is just regenerating the code, trying to fix the stuff. Hey, look at that. It did it. This is vibe coding, right? It's just like, oh, this looks wrong. Okay, see, canvas way too small. Should take half the screen width. The other two cards should be 1-4. Yeah, and it's pretty cool. You know, it's like, for me as somebody who like builds a lot of these apps, it's like I'd much rather do this than, you know, going in there and figuring out CSS, HTML, all this other crap, right? And the cool thing about these types of builders is that you can actually add functionality. So it's like, all right, I'm just going to make up a feature. When I click the cards in the item list, there should be confetti popping out of them. Oh, sorry. So it's actually downloading a package that it knows about from the internet called Canvas Confetti. That's so random. And it's gonna try to implement it. I'm actually really curious. Oh, see, it messes up sometimes, but the UX is so nice. So you can't do this in cursor, right? Like it doesn't automatically. What I have to do in cursor now is like open up the app and it's like, oh, there's an error message. Let me copy and paste that into cursor. But in here, it's like they just really nailed the UX of like this first part of development, I believe. Yeah. Okay. Confetti. Look at this. This is a killer app, I think. Okay, let me stop there. Any questions about, I know that was a ton of information. Any questions or comments, or how are people feeling?
So with this workflow, what are you paying for, and how much of a limit do they put on you?
Oh, for bolts,
Well, I
it's
think it's
really
for
cheap.
Bolt and
Oh, for
Builder.
both.
Yeah.
Builder.it. Oh, let's look at their pricing. I'm paying $20 a month for Builder.io and $20 a month for Bolt. It's
Do you
kind of
also
been
use ChatGPT?
what?
Do you also use ChatGPT?
Yeah, I just got Pro.
Yeah, add that to the list.
Yeah, no, my software expenses are actually pretty insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's but once you get over that thought, okay. I mean, it's just an investment. Like, um, it saves a lot of time once you realize
Do
that.
they
Yeah,
limit tokens?
they do. So you can see here it's like Pro for Builder.io. I think I have this. It's like 200 monthly code generations.
Is that like every time you do a code or a new prompt, that's a code generation?
I don't really know, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think it might be one export. It might be, I think it's probably one export. Um,
Oh, I see.
yeah. And then for Bolt.new, I have like the basic tier. But it's really okay. Pricing? What is this? Okay. It's like $20. You know,
Yeah.
you're not breaking the bank here. And if you do this a lot, you're saving tons of time.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. Any other questions? Okay. Okay, let's build a spell book app. That's what I'm really curious about. Okay. Oh, actually, we only have like, okay, let me just do it real quick. Spell, make me an app where I can catch scary spells. Kiana, this is your recommendation, right?
We
Oh, oh, as in French, yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay, do you want anything else in here, or you want to?
well, let's see what it goes. I definitely do an iterative approach, so I
Okay,
love to
this
see
is
what it comes
perfect
up
for
with
you then.
first.
Yeah. No, this app would be perfect for you. So it's going to literally like choose the stack for you and all this stuff. Unless you can choose a specific tech stack, but if you don't care about that, it'll probably just, yeah, it chose Byte.
How is
That
the
doesn't mean any.
integration?
Yeah. What's up? What's up, Olga?
How is the GitHub integration?
Yeah, so you can open it. It doesn't have a direct integration. That's a great question. I actually don't really know. So Bolt.new, this company is the same people that create StackBlitz, and StackBlitz is like an AI editor. No, not an AI editor. It's like a, hey, um, basically it's really easy to, um, I think it's easy. Hold up. How do I get this? GitHub?
I mean, I guess you can copy paste.
No, but that's terrible. I don't want to do that. Application URL. I'm pretty sure. How to get Stack Blitz Code to GitHub. I'm pretty sure what you can do is you just download this code locally, somehow. Running a project. You can run any public repo on GitHub, providing the username like this. I'm sure there's options like because I've deployed stuff from StackBlitz onto GitHub before, or at least like published it. So it's not a problem to get it to GitHub, I think. But yeah, here's the dark spell book. Oh, Soul
Sexy.
Drain.
I'm a fan.
Lightning Strike. Okay. You like it? What could be better though?
I'd really love to punch up like the design element. I'm assuming that's like the CSS aspect. Okay, ask it if it can use pixel art
Okay.
to emphasize or to make it more visually like communicative instead of leaning so much on words.
Yeah. Yeah. So the nice thing about vibe coding is you really don't have to be super specific. Like you could just, I mean, it helps to be able to communicate your ideas really specifically, but like if you don't do that, the AI is probably just going to make a bunch of assumptions, right? This is what prompt engineering is about. It's just being very specific with what you want and having the AI kind of implement it. Hey,
Cute. It's so
wow.
retro.
This is interesting what happened here.
Did it try to pull images from like live links and it just didn't work?
I have no clue. Yeah, but you can. So the cool thing about Bolt.new is that you can actually make it into like a micro SaaS. So say I wanted to, you can connect it to a database and be like, all right, I don't know. There are lots of videos on YouTube if you guys want to look it up. I know we're running kind of on time, and I want to say the last 15 minutes to get a better sense of where people want to take this group. But there's tons of videos online of people like building crazy stuff with Bolt.new, Bolt.new examples. Like, there's tons of stuff. These aren't actually examples. And it's a lot of people who don't actually know how to code. And the reason why they're kind of like, it's kind of amazing is because they really have to push the tool to its limits, right? Because they have no other option. So I'd encourage you, if you're interested in this, Kiana or other people otherwise, like check out that content feed on YouTube and see what people are building. I'm going to stop sharing now. Okay. Gotta drop in ahead of the lab. What is the corner's post? Thanks for putting this together. Having some text in change for joining. Okay. Okay, guys, what's TikTok?
I just threw in the
Okay.
chat my favorite creative technologist. She does some really impressive stuff where she like organizes different community events where people are building different artful projects using technology. She's based in the Bay Area, and I've been following her for a while and feel like this group would draw inspiration from her stuff.
Yeah. Thank you. What is creative technologist? Okay. I think I'm getting it. Yeah. All right. So I guess a good question might be to ask is like, what do people kind of, what do people need most help with? Like, is it Okay, Sean is left too. Is it like finding new tools? Is it finding new workflows? Is it just having a space to chat with people about this topic? Is it somewhere where you want to share your own workflows? Maybe for the 4 people that are here, like, what do you guys think?
I would really like to see how people are using AI or automation tools to solve like really specific problems. Like for example, right now I'm like using AI to create an app script to help me like enrich my contact list and organize it. So once I finish figuring that out, happy to share. But if other people have like specific problems that they've solved, I would love to see it.
Yeah. So you're thinking like kind of like a workflow that solves a problem, and then using AI to like do it real good, kind of in other less elegant words.
So I can
Hugo, what's going on over there?
My roommate got the Philips Hue lights. I think she's messing with them.
Sick. Sick, cool.
something I think through a lot in my job is how to automate just product tasks, whether it's creating user stories or um, simplifying the process of like taking ideas and then bringing them to design teams. So I feel like what we went over today was really helpful because maybe I could get a head start before I brought something to a team. Um, but I also don't want to do something that they then have to go back and redo. So that's something I'm also thinking through. But I think I'm just curious to learn more about tools people recommend in product that just make things faster, whether it's documentation or the actual writing stories. I know not everyone here is a product manager, but things like that that really save time. And if I learn them, I'll certainly share with the group.
Navi, you got any thoughts?
I feel like as someone who works like in ops, but not like necessarily, I guess, at a tech company or like I don't think of myself as a technical person. I feel like it's mostly about like efficiency and using automation to like essentially build more efficient workflows. And like, for example, I guess in my day-to-day work, my team would be considered the like more like we build a lot of things that other people need to use where they don't have a lot of context. And so I've been trying to find ways to like build better versions of almost like internal tools, if that makes sense. So I think that's been a big thing where I've been trying to learn how people use AI to just better connect teams with very different, I guess, amounts of information without creating more work for people. I feel like a good example is like in D2C, people love to just like turn things into Google Forms in order to mitigate this issue of like, I'll just make them answer multiple choice questions so that they don't, not have the information that they need to do things. But like that also is super, super clunky. And I've just seen people build a lot of much better versions of kind of like internal solves for things,
Yeah.
a little bit more automated. And so I've been trying to like better understand the inner workings of that as a person who like doesn't have a coding background.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay. Olga, what about you got a response?
Oh. Um, um, Jacob, are you the PM?
Yes.
I feel like if you're looking for advice, the best advice that I could give, do you work with designers or like who gives you, I guess, who do you work with?
So in my last role, I worked with designers, engineers, pretty much everyone in the company, but mainly engineers and designers.
Yeah. Because at my company, I typically like today I had like a dev handoff where I had met with like the PM and the developers. And I wonder if like you could take I don't know if you're allowed to record your meetings at your work, but maybe if you could take like that transcript of like the designer talking through the designs. And I don't think AI is like at that point, but it would be nice if like when the designer was walking through like a handoff file to like just be like, okay, take this and like translate this into user stories. And then like, I don't know what kind of process you guys have, but maybe if you guys have refinement meetings, like that's where you could like add in the details of like, oh, wait, we need like this kind of screen or like an error or something. So
Mhm.
I don't know. But my job does not allow AI. So it's all like personal computer, but don't use it on your work computer. So
Yeah.
I don't
Is the reason for security or more for productivity at the company?
know. I mean, it's a health tech company with patient data, so we don't trust OpenAI. We're very weird about like Zoom AI, for example. There's an AI companion in Zoom, which is actually very good. It's better than Teams. But yeah, basically to say we don't trust OpenAI.
Hmm.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Neither.
I wouldn't trust them.
Spying on us. Cool. Okay, so what I heard was tools to streamline workflows, like AI tools to streamline workflows, communicating ideas, which is like prototyping, and then making tools for efficiency and operations kind of thing. What I'm getting from that is people want to make things. So there's really two things. There's like, I'm making a tool to make a workflow way better, or like automate part of it, or I'm using a set of tools to do it better, or there's like, I'm making a tool. You know what I mean? A little bit of a difference there. I could go either way. But like, for instance, if I were talking about ways to make my workflow better, I would probably just come in here and like show you guys deep research, and that's what I would share. Like I did 2 research projects, so it would take like way longer if I didn't use it. But if I were talking about prototyping, I might like, or building a tool, then I would do more of like, stuff that's related to the software development life cycle. You know what I mean? I love to see an EEP research workflow. Oh, a deep research workflow? Okay.
Maybe, because like I think all these ideas are great. What if we put them in like a poll in the Slack so
Okay.
we could see what we wanted to do next?
Yeah. Yeah. I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. Can you send a poll, Kiana? Like, I don't, I don't,
I have
I
no
could do it
idea.
too.
I'll try.
You can try. Yeah. Just to make this more communal. You know what I'm saying? Is it poll? Okay, I know we're on time, so Steven, appreciate you putting this together. Maybe Kiana and I can just stay on just to work on that. Would you mind staying on to work on the
Oh no, you're
poll?
good. Yeah, it'll take like it'll probably take 5-10 minutes. We're good.
5-10 minutes. Okay. Other people you can stay on if you want to be a part of that or chat a bit more, but I guess I have nothing else to speak about.
Thank y'all
Cool.
for sharing.
Yeah, thanks for presenting.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good night.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right. See you guys.
Bye, Jacob.